Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader, and this is just last week. We'll do a review here of the markets in the anticipation of um, the New York session here. And before we get started, we'll run through our risk disclosure here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So just to run and remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice or an offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company's partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. An investor could potentially lose all or more of the investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, Vamonos. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the news, okay, and see what news we have in store today, a short week, that could impact the markets. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up here. We'll give it a pause here just to make sure that everybody's is able to see this. Okay. All right. So relatively, honestly, relatively light in the way of news today, I guess. And we do have U.S. pending home sales change month over month at 10 a.m. today. We do have. Is this correct? This is kind of an odd day to have the EIA report, but looks like we do. We do have inventory, crude oil inventory report coming in today at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So crude oil traders. And then we have some, I guess, news on the results of the meeting with President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or not, at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then I guess as we progress through the week here, we get more impactful news here. We have tomorrow, we have meeting minutes coming in from FOMC at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then we close out the year with some initial jobless claims and continued jobless claims on the 31st of December here. Okay. So I would say relatively light. I say relatively light news here. Obviously, tomorrow's FOMC minutes could have an impact on the markets as we head into the close of the year here. Okay. All right. So now that we've gotten a feel for the news, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the trading platform. All right. And we'll begin our review of the markets. So we'll go ahead and do just that. We'll stop share here and we'll begin to share our trading platform. And there it is. Okay. We're just going to see if we can move this over here. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see my charts. Good morning. Go. All right. Good morning, Antha. Hopefully my charts are visible. If I can get a 1 in chat to make sure that indeed those are my chart is visible, that would be great. Excellent. Vámonos. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So taking a look at as you know, again, we'll start with our normal market and guys, I've decided to add silver to our mix here. As rather than an alternative market, we'll just make it part of the complex of markets that we review because of the fact that they are offering us opportunities in the markets, and I think it's probably wise of us to review it on a regular basis. So we've added silver to the list of instruments that we'll be reviewing today. All right, taking a look at the gold market. All right, so gold market, as we all know, has been on a very steady climb to the upside. We've broken some structure, continue to break structure on the daily here, continue to make higher highs and higher lows. You can see that the price is above all the in this case, I think they're SMAs, all the SMAs, moving averages that we care about, the 20, the 50, the 100, the 200, all giving us indications that the market is still very much in a bullish trend. Now, of late, I think something to make note of, and something that I kind of alluded to here at the in the weekly review, is that we are starting to see maybe a little bit of signs that maybe this is just another maybe healthy kind of a little bit of a pullback in the markets here. You can see the last time we received such a strong pullback that it offered the markets maybe a little bit of a rest from the upside move here. Engulfing candle here, okay, indicating maybe that we may be having a little bit of trouble getting above this 4,600 level. So we're going to go ahead and mark this as an area of resistance, and it would not be surprising given the kind of the steady climb here. Okay, let's see if no chart. Let's see if I can bring those back. Hopefully it's back now. Okay, perfect. Okay, so again, 4,600 seems to be an area of some resistance in this market. We have a developing, as I mentioned, a developing bearish engulfing candle, which is important to make note of, right? Because it's an indication of some level of weakness or some level of difficulty getting above this 4,600 level. Okay, so we'll have to see how this plays out across the session, but it does maybe give this the indication that maybe at least for today and maybe for a couple of days that we could see maybe some bearish price action in the gold market. Okay. Now, while we are still above, again, some of these indicators that indicate that we are still very much in a healthy move to the upside, as will maybe become a little bit more apparent as we move down timeframes, that it might not be a bad idea, or it might serve us better if we were looking at maybe some opportunities that would maybe take the market a little bit lower here. Now, again, to the downside, a logical place here based on the daily chart here, if I take a look at this, I look at maybe a prior area of support here. It would not surprise me in the least, and we could still remain in some bullish structure, having price come down to this 43.72 level. Okay, somewhere in that range, 43.81, 43.80. That would be a logical level for price to reach and still be inside bullish structure. Okay, because if I draw my channels here, right, if I take the low end of these channels, that's exactly where this area is coming in, right? 43.90, 43.80, somewhere in that range. Okay, and that would be a logical little pullback in this market and still not break any structure to the downside. Okay, or I should say any significant structure to the downside. Okay, so the daily chart, I would say probably looking at least on the shorter time frame, and this again will be a little bit more evident as we look at lower time frame. I would say that we are bullish and we remain bullish in the market, but maybe there is a little bit of a slowdown in the bullish momentum. Okay, on the daily. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart again, you can see we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance here for a moment. If I can locate it here, we'll turn this off here. Okay, so you can see here over the last 12 hours, right? We've had bearish price action. Okay, so there's a fair amount of sellers. Okay, fair amount of sellers in this market. We started off on the open of the market here, up at the upper end of the value here. We've been in sort of a seller kind of structure or bearish structure of late here. Now we managed to break some structure here on the 4-hour, okay, to the downside, okay, and you can see here that maybe as we've progressed lower, that we found more and more interest from buyers here. Buyers are beginning maybe to nibble here, right? It's becoming more difficult for price to continue. Could you review it and give your opinion? Yeah, maybe at the tail end of the session here. We have a normal kind of set of markets that we review first, but we'll take a look at the Nifty here at the tail end of the session here. Okay. All right. Let's so again, markets on the 4-hour, we can see that there is a little bit of maybe some seller structure or bearish structure that we're in right now. Again, would probably continue to look at this on the bearish side until I start to see maybe price maybe create maybe a little bit of a 3-bar reversal and offer me maybe some opportunities maybe for rotation of the current direction. But right now, it appears, at least on the higher time frame, right? We got some indication of some bears, and on the 4-hour chart is giving us the same kind of indication here. Okay, again, we have this 44.49 or 44.50 level here on the 4-hour that is maybe on the high end of value here. As I move the chart around here, you can see this on the visible range volume profile. We have, again, this 43.93 level, maybe coming in at the as another maybe logical level, right, that we've kind of already identified on the daily as a possibility or area for price to potentially reverse from. Okay. If I open up settlement price, well, we're already below settlement, right? We're below our settlement price. And that's also kind of an indication, since we are below settlement price, that there is a fair amount of interest or a fair amount of sellers in this market. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the 30-minute chart. We'll look at the 30-minute chart here and see. We'll go ahead and remove our drawings here for a moment. And you can see here that we're starting to see, we're starting to see our shorter time frame break below, right? Break below some of the longer time frames. So this one above here is being, let's see, is this our 9 EMA? I think I turned off our 9 EMA here because of so many EMAs here that we have. Is that what EMA is that? I believe that's that's the 200. Turn that off here. Locate my 9. Doesn't appear to be there. Okay, let's go ahead and add my 9 EMA to this discussion. EMA exponential. Okay, here we go. And we're going to add our 9 EMA because that's the trend that I like to follow, or the EMA I like to follow when I'm trying to follow trend here. Okay, so that's in blue. Okay, so you can see how well price is following our 9 EMA. I'm going to go ahead and color this in gold because that's usually the color I use, and we'll make this a little bit thicker. Okay, since this is EMA and the others are SMAs. Okay, so you can see that price is following some downside structure here. Okay, price is below our 9 EMA, indicating that there is a fair amount of interest in taking this market lower. Okay, now we've already identified some levels on the daily chart. Okay, that could provide us, actually remove them. So we have, at least on this chart, I see maybe a minor area here around 44.40. Okay, this seems like a logical area for maybe price to potentially reverse, right? We got here around 44.60 is maybe another area here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this area in green, indicating that might be an area where we could see a potential reversal in this market. And then below that, we have some other some other areas, say 4,400, but I'm looking at a settlement zone here around 4386. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this area as maybe another logical area where we could see maybe a reversal in price if we are to break below 4440. Okay. So right now, I would say that there is, again, a fair amount of sellers in this market. We'll take a look here at the fixed range volume profile and see where we are with respect to Friday's price action. And you can see that we're well below value. All right, well below value from Friday. Okay, indicating that we are in a little bit of bearish, kind of price action of late here, or bearish structure, I should say, right? So but I will mark this area as maybe another area. Should price come back to this area, the expectation is that price could continue, obviously, in this bearish direction. Okay, that would be a level. I know that's well above the market. Okay, we have some of our SMAs here. We have the 20, the 50 SMAs here that are offering us some indication that we are indeed in some sort of bearish structure. We're going to go ahead and open up the initial balance here across the various sessions. We're going to start off with Asia and see where the Asia initial balance range ended up here. So here we are. There's the Asia session. We had a relatively wide initial balance. Okay, we did break below. And let's see here. We'll go ahead and mark these targets. Okay, so we managed to reach the 100%. Okay, that's 50? No, we managed to reach the 50% extension of the range here. Okay, this is so again, fair amount of sellers indicated here by this extension, right? We got a nice extension of the initial balance range to the downside. We managed to reach the 50%. Now, again, how we say, the price is having a little bit of difficulty moving lower. It's kind of, I would say, grinding to the downside, right? We see a lot more in the way of overlap of price as we move lower, okay? Which could be an indication. I would say, again, this 4450 level could offer us a location, right, for price to potentially reverse, okay? Right? We could see here on the left-hand side that this was an area of support in the past. So 4450, I would say, is probably could be a logical location that we could potentially see a reversal in price action. But nonetheless, we are seeing, we'll just take a quick peek here at the London. We are seeing a fair amount of sellers in this market, right? Sellers in Asia, sellers in London. The question now is, are we going to see sellers in the U.S.? Or are sellers going to begin to step in here around this 4450 level? We'll have to see. So as I enter the session, or as I enter the markets here, I would say that my view on this market is a tad to the bearish side. While we still remain in some higher time frame structure that is to the bullish side, we are developing, bearish candles as we speak here. Okay. So I have to kind of err on the side of the bears. If I am bullish, I have to look at some areas of extremes here where I've seen buyers before, and maybe potentially take an opportunity now. Again, until we break above this 9 EMA, then I have to continue to err on the side of the bears. Okay. So that's kind of what I have for you for the gold market. All right. We'll go ahead now and take a look here at the silver. Okay. Silver markets, as I mentioned, is a new instrument that we're going to be adding to this review officially. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart. Again, similar kind of reaction that we got here around the 80 level. It looks like we found some sellers as evidenced by the volume delta bar. Right, a good number of sellers stepped into this market to the tune of 55,000 more sell orders than buy orders. Okay. So while again, silver has been experiencing quite the run to the upside, it stands to reason that eventually we were going to run into some sellers. And so far, it appears that we have. Okay. 80, again, we're going to go ahead and mark this area because that's an area of importance here. 80 is an area of some level of resistance in this market. All right. And as long as we stay below 80, then I would say that it maybe could cause the market to continue in some sort of, I don't know, retracement, maybe retrace here a little bit because the market has been quite bullish of late here. Okay. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, you can see the same level of bearish price action. We see we're kind of drilling into this daily candle, and you can see, right? You can see that we managed to get below the 9 EMA, which will become more evident when we review the 30-minute chart. We are now touching the 20 SMA, okay, which we've been following of late. So this could very well be just merely a pullback to the 20 EMA, and the price could continue and reverse away from this area and still be in bullish structure. But nonetheless, right, we have to respect the fact that over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 4-hour candles, they've all been to the bearish side. Okay. So if we are going to look bullish, we have to look at levels where where we found buyers in the past. And the one area that I want to draw in here is this area here, right around the 72 level. 72 level, maybe as low as 70.50. This seems to be an area where we've had or seen buyers in the past, and the expectation is that we will find buyers there again, at least. And then again, this is not an area that it has been to in some time. Okay. So moving on to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, you can see that price is below, creating these lower lows and lower highs, right? We created a little bit of a supply area or a resistance zone here up at the highs here, right around 80. As I mentioned, 80 is an area of some level of resistance. We identified on the 4-hour chart that we have maybe some support here at the 72 level. I honestly do not. The way price is moving at this point, it would not surprise me in the least if we were to maybe come and revisit some of these areas below us, 72, maybe as low as even 70. Okay, before we start to see maybe any sort of reversal in price action. Okay, so similar to what we were seeing in the gold, silver does appear to maybe have some sellers in the market at this point. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile from Friday and take a look and see, kind of the range that was established in the Friday session and see where price is in relation to that. And you can see that we just managed here of late. Okay, we're getting some sell. This is for the ES. You can see, let's see, Friday. This is the start of the session to the close. We just managed to peak below the value range from Friday, indicating that there's, that folks are willing to pay a premium to be part of this market to the downside. Okay. You see that price is below our settlement price. It's below our 9 EMA. It's below our 20. So we're starting to see some indications that maybe we are in some sort of bearish structure here in this market. All right. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the initial balance range across the various sessions. We'll start off with the Tokyo session or Asia session. And you can see here that we did manage to close below the session. We were very much in range, right? We came back to this area that we mentioned, this 80 level, and then we've been in a bearish structure ever since, right? So we broke below the initial balance range, got to or about to reach the 50% extension of this range. But I would not rule out the possibility for price to reach 70, 20 before we see any sort of reversal in this market. Okay. Let's take a look and see London before we move on to the crude oil and then the other markets here. So it should be 1 hour, not 30 minutes. London. Okay, so you can see also London giving us some indication that maybe there is some interest in participating in this market to the downside. So Asia bearish, London appearing to be as bearish. Okay, with the assuming that we close below. Obviously, we're coming into some areas where we could find some buyers. So it'll be interesting to see. And again, this is kind of where I kind of use my channels here, right? It'll be interesting to see if how long we are able to maintain this channel to the downside. Okay, if we continue to maintain the channel to the downside, then we need to continue to look for opportunities in that direction. If we break above this channel to the upside and maybe begin to break some structure, well, we have a fair amount of area here for price to reverse and maybe return to some of these highs. Okay. So similar to the gold, I would say that I'm entering the market a bit on the bearish side on the shorter time frame. Okay, and until we can break some begin to break some structure here to the upside, I think bearish seems to be the logical direction that we should be looking for in this market. Okay, all right. So now that we've gotten through the silver and the gold, we'll go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market. Okay, crude oil market, we'll start off with the daily. Looks like we may have caught maybe a little bit of a bid here. Okay, we had a relatively strong bearish candle here, maybe to flush out some hopeful buyers. And we opened, maybe because of some of the unrest that we are having globally, we have an inside bullish candle. Okay, we're not able, at least for now, not able to make a new low in this market. Okay, so it looks like maybe we are beginning to see maybe some early signs of some bullish structure. We're still not out of the woods here, I would say, on the bearish side. Overall, the market's still bearish, but again, we're starting to see some beginnings of some bullish price action. Right, we got a push away, a retest, another push, impulse move to the downside. We got a bearish impulsive move to the downside, but instead of a follow-through candle in that same direction, we got a bullish candle. So if we can get above, say, 58.50, let's say 59, okay, if we can, price can get above 59, then I think it opens the door to 60 and possibly to some of these highs here, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart and see what the 4-hour chart is telling us. Okay, so similar to what we were saying with the gold and the silver, in the opposite way, while gold and silver has been showing some signs of weakness, crude oil has been showing a little bit of strength here, right? So you can see here over the course of the last 4 candles, last 4-hour candles, they've all been to the bullish side. Okay, so we've broken above. Let's see, this is right. We haven't yet to break above the 200. Okay, but looks like we've broken above. We're getting some. We've broken above the 20. We've broken or working our way to get above the potentially the 50. Okay, and we're starting to see a little bit of strength here on the DMI indicator that maybe that there is something to this bullish move. Now we have not seen our ADX curl, right? It's kind of in this consolidation range, but the fact that we have our positive DI above is, I would say, significant. And if we can get above, say, this 58.60 level, that would also speak, volumes as to the potential of maybe a move here in the crude oil to the upside. All right. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay. 30-minute chart here. We have price. We'll go ahead and remove. Well, actually, we'll leave the channels there. You can see that price is above our 9 EMA, above our 20, above our 50, and working its way above the 200. Okay, so we are starting to see some price structure to indicate that maybe the market wants to head higher. Now, how high can it go before we see some sellers? Well, we have this 58.71 level. Okay, it's the nearest level of resistance. And as I mentioned, if we get above that 58.75 level, then I think it could open up the doors to maybe 59 and obviously up to maybe 60. Okay, is kind of what I'm seeing here in the crude oil market. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our fixed range volume profile. Let's compare the price action between where price action is in relation to Friday's session here. So we'll start here and bring this across to the close here. And you can see, right? You can see that price is above value. Okay, above value. Again, that we have participants in this market that are willing to pay a premium to be part of this market to the bullish side. Okay, where folks are paying a premium to be part of an potential upside move here in the gold, not gold, but the crude oil. Okay, taking a look at the initial balance range across the various markets, we'll start off with the Asia market. Okay, so Asia market, again, we show signs of bullish price action, right? Price broke above, held above, and now price is rallying, kind of a sustained move here to the upside. London also provided us an extension to the upside. So I would say that there is a fair amount of bulls, okay, a fair amount of buyers in this market. Okay, fair amount of buyers in this market, and we're seeing evidence here with the 9 EMA. I think what I'm missing here is my VWAP. Okay, well, we're above the 9, we're above the VWAP. So again, these provide us logical locations to participate in this market. So we have 58 here on the 9 EMA, and we have 57.70 on the VWAP that provide us logical locations to participate in this market. And then we have 57.61 is also another area here up at the upper end of the market that could provide us a location for further price action to the upside. Okay, so it's been a while that I've said this, but it does appear, okay, that crude oil is beginning to show signs of some bullish price action. It's been in bearish structure for quite some time. Okay, and now at least in what I'm seeing here, especially on the 30-minute, or we are starting to see some signs of some bullish price action. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead now. I see that our like indicator is pretty much on par with our participation here. So we'll go ahead and move on to the equity markets. Okay, we'll take a look here. All right, taking a look at the daily. Okay, so you can see here. We're going to go ahead and I was kind of alluding to in the weekly review that I felt that the market was in some sort of consolidation, okay, and that we were at the upper end of this consolidation here. Looks like we initially broke it to the upside, okay, but now we have a developing candle similar to what we were seeing in the gold, okay, similar to what we're seeing in the gold. That maybe sellers have begun to step into this market. Now, it would not surprise me in the least, right? Assuming that we are going to maintain this consolidation pattern, that we maybe come back and maybe revisit this 25,277 level. That's also an area point of control here on the visible range volume profile we have here to the right. But I can see here that we are in some sort of consolidation range, okay? We are in some sort of consolidation on the daily. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. We're going to go ahead and stretch this out here just to get as much context as I can on this market here. So you can see some of our EMA or SMAs and EMAs we're starting to roll over, right? We created a little bit of a rounding top here, right? You can see a little bit of rounding top around this 26,000 level. And over the course of the Asia and into London, we've seem to have attracted a fair number of sellers in this market. Okay. Technically, we are inside value. This is the value range, I believe, from the Friday session. We'll confirm that when we get into the 30-minute range. But you can see that we are inside this area of value. This 25,580 does appear to be maybe a logical place for price to reach before we see any sort of reversal in price. But more importantly, we're starting to see price get below some of these moving averages, indicating that maybe there is some momentum behind this move here to the downside. Okay, you can see our volume delta also increasing in momentum, increasing in volume. We see our negative DI getting above our positive DI, indicating that maybe there is something or some momentum behind this downside move. Okay. Let's go ahead and move into the 30-minute chart. We'll take a look at the 30-minute and see. Okay, so I don't know if this is news generated, but we did get a pretty significant bar here to the downside in this market. You can see that price is below a lot of our moving averages, including our 200 simple moving average. Okay, and we're also below our 9 EMA here on the 30-minute side. We got a little spike on our DI, and we have our ADX indicator indicating that there's a fair amount of strength in this downside move. Okay, taking a look at let's start off with the fixed range volume profile. We'll start off with the start of Friday's session here and take that to the close. And you can see that price is well below, right? Well below our value range. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and extend this line here. Okay, that's area now appears to be a area of resistance right around this 25,860 level. We'll open up the initial balance ranges across the various markets here. We'll start off with the Asia market, okay, and see what Asia offered. Asia offered us some indications that there is some interest again to the bearish side. We broke below the initial balance range to the downside, reached the 200%, and we continue in that direction. Looking at London also indicating to us that there may be some interest here in participating to the downside in this market. We got a break of the initial balance range. I think this is still developing, right? But we did manage to break below the initial balance range for London. So a lot of indications right now of bearish price action in the NASDAQ. Okay. The question now becomes, is this trying to find an area to maybe find some buyers? I think the earliest would be this 25,620 level. Okay. The more logical one will probably be the 25,590, maybe 25,600 before we see any, maybe earnest efforts here from the buyers to maybe take the market higher. Okay. Because right now, headed into the market, it does appear to be a bit on the bearish side. Okay. Taking a look at the ES. Okay. We'll take a look at the daily. Okay. Similar kind of view here. You can see that we're getting a lot of sell indicators here on my alerts here. Okay. So we are developing a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern. This is still very much a developing candle, but nonetheless, in its current form, it's wiping out a lot of hopeful buyers, right? We closed the session relatively neutral, right? A little bit of indecision here around this 7,000 level. Okay. And now we managed to working on a developing bearish candle in the opposite direction. Okay. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart on the ES, again, you can see that we had a series of bearish candles here. We'll turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see that we've had a series of 4-hour candles all to the downside. Again, I'm going to go ahead and mark an area where I could potentially see that we might find some buyers, and there would be this area down here. Okay, right around this 6,900, 6,940 level could be an area where we find some buyers. If that does not hold, then I would say 6,900 is very much in the cards. That would fill the gap that was created here. Okay, back on Thursday. Okay, so we have a couple of levels here where we could potentially find some buyers, because at this point I would say that we are in some sort of bearish structure in this market. Okay, taking a look at the Asia session just to kind of compare initial balance ranges here on the 30-minute side. Okay, taking a look at the 30-minute, you can see that we have we broke below the initial balance range for Asia. And not only that, we also broke, or I think in the process of breaking, the initial balance range for London. Okay, very similar to what we saw on the NASDAQ. Okay, so again, a lot of indications right now of bearish price structure in this market. Okay, now if we believe in this, if we believe in this move, then certainly areas like the VWAP, okay, VWAP right now at 69.65 could offer us a location where we could participate in this market to the downside. Okay, that would be logical. Certainly the 9 EMA, which is the area that is currently following, could also offer us a location as well. Now, if we do manage to maybe close back inside the initial balance range for London, possibly get above the 9 EMA, then we could easily rotate back to the 69.70 level before we see a continuation move to the downside. Okay, so these are some of the levels that I'll be looking at in this market. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the Dow. And before we look at any alternative markets, I know I got a request here for the Nifty. We'll take a look at the daily on the Dow. Again, similar kind of structure that we're seeing on these other markets. Although these other markets, I think the Dow was showing a little bit of strength in my weekly review. I'm going to go ahead and mark this level here as a relatively important level to support here, because that's the most recent area of structure that we broke above, right around this 48,875 level. Does appear to be an area, if we are going to maintain this bullish kind of posture, would not want to see market get below 48. Let's call it 865. Okay, would not like to see price get below that. Certainly not below this 20 EMA, because that could easily get us back down to 48,229. Okay, in this market. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, we're seeing some signs of bearish price action. You could see the strength of these candles are becoming stronger to the bearish side, a little bit, right? So we had this candle pushed lower. We're not able to close above this candle before we found yet more sellers in this market. Okay. So again, on the 4-hour, again, giving us some indication that maybe we are beginning maybe to see a little bit more in the way of some bearish price action in this market. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart here. Again, we're below our 9. We're below our VWAP. Again, giving us indication that we are in some sort of bearish structure. We found this level here, this prior level of support here, right? The most recent area of that we broke above. The expectation that this area could be supportive, right? This 48,855, 48,850 level could provide us some locations for maybe price to potentially reverse. But we are seeing, again, a fair amount of sellers in this market. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here and compare, all right, where price is in relation to the value range that was established here. If I can navigate my mouse, there it is. Okay, so you can see that with this current candle, we've broken below the value range. Again, folks are willing to pay a premium to be part of this market to the downside. Taking a look at the initial balance ranges. Okay, we'll start off with Asia. Okay, open this up for Asia. And again, you can see that price broke below the initial balance range for Asia. Again, fair amount of sellers currently in this market. And then I would say also into London. Okay, also indications of sellers. So I would say across the equities right now, okay, showing some signs of weakness. Okay, All right. I don't know if my friend 109 109, are you still in the session? If you're still in the session, I'm happy to take a look. Abi Anu, are you still in the session here? I'm happy to take a look at the Nifty. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and summarize kind of my view. Okay. Abi, can you tell me what the symbol for the Nifty? Is it NFT? What is the symbol for the Nifty? Nifty. There it is. Nifty. Okay. All right. So let's start off with a daily chart. Okay. Okay. So again, similar to what we were, I guess, saying about the equity markets here, I see a market that is beginning to show signs of weakness. Abi. Okay. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 candles showing indications that the market wants to head lower. I would say this. Hopefully, I got the right market. Okay. 25,890. I would say is a relatively important level for the bulls in this market. Okay, because we gapped up to the upside, we filled the gap, and now we've exceeded the gap to the downside. Okay, if we manage to get below 25,000, let's say 890, I think it opens the door for price to get down to 25,550. Okay, we're starting to see some of our moving averages indicating that maybe there is maybe some potential for downside opportunities in this market. Feels heavy. Okay, attempts to go higher have been met with sellers in a strong way. Okay, taking a look at the 4-hour chart again, also indicating again price below a lot of our levels here. Okay, a lot of our moving averages. Again, we are beginning creating lower lows and lower highs in this market. So market for me right now looks relatively weak. Okay. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Again, we're below a lot of our averages. Okay, so you can see price made an impulsive move here to the downside, came back up to the 9 EMA. And what did it find? Well, it found more sellers. Okay, so right now, again, I see a market that looks like the path of least resistance is lower. Okay, I don't know the timings of this, but let's at least look at the Asia session from initial balance point of view. But I would say that there's a fair amount of sellers in this market. Okay, so I would say, Abi, that the Nifty looks a bit weak to me. Okay, I think it would be wise to continue to look for opportunities to potentially sell some strength. Certainly, this VWAP area around 26,000 appears to be a logical area, maybe for price to continue to the downside. I'm looking here to the left-hand side, and again, really need to get, before I maybe would entertain maybe a longer trade, 25,875. That's a settlement price from a prior day. But I need to start to see some evidence that price is able to get above the 9 EMA and begin to break some structure here to the upside. Okay. So hopefully, Albie, that answers your question. Hopefully that at least to secure a like or subscribe, for taking the time to actually review this market with you. Okay. So let's get back let's get back to maybe summarizing kind of what I wanted to summarize here earlier. Okay. So here we are again, market showing some weakness here in the gold. Okay. Looks like we've maybe caught maybe some sellers are in this market. We've broken below what I thought could be supportive. We've broken below that and accelerating to the downside, right? The volume delta bars are also indicating that there's a fair amount of interest here to the downside. So I would have to say, as we enter the New York session, that we have to look to the bearish side in the gold. I don't know when the last time I said that. Okay, but it does appear that we are getting some structure here to the downside, and I'm getting nothing but alerts to indicate to me that I should be looking for bearish trades in this market. Okay, silver probably following the same path as the gold, again showing some signs of weakness at this point, right? Until we can break some structure here to the upside on the shorter time frame, we need to continue to look for opportunities appears to the downside, right? Maybe we'll come back to this 70 level in the silver. Okay. So gold, silver, both looking a bit bearish. Crude oil, up until these recent set of candles, I would have told you that I was maybe looking at more bullish on this market. Now that I see that this candle is beginning to maybe kind of rotate, maybe a little bit of a rounding top and looking to close below this 9 EMA, maybe we get another leg to the downside. Okay, in this market, if I'm going to maintain bull, then I need to get above 58. If I can't get above 58, then there appears that the market wants to extend lower. Okay. So crude oil, I think initially I was thinking more bullish, but of late is looking a little bit more bearish. And then I would say across all the equities, okay, I think we're seeing a little bit in the way of some bearish price action in the NAS, bearish price action in the ES, bearish price action in the Dow. Okay, all looking bearish today. Okay, outside of maybe crude oil, which was initially for me a little bit bullish. So again, if we're looking for some reversal areas, well, we're coming into them relatively quickly. Okay, would probably need to see price get above some of these areas that we care about, the 9 EMA, the VWAPs, before I'm willing to entertain anything in the way of bullish trades at the moment. Okay, because everything is looking quite bearish here. Okay. So with that, guys, unless there's a set of questions here on the markets, like I said, it appears across the board that we're looking a little bit bearish heading into the close of the year here. I'm not seeing anything that would indicate any sort of bullish price action of late in all the markets. Again, crude oil probably showing the most strength, and that's been a very bearish market for quite some time. Okay, so if there are no questions, we'll go ahead and close off this session. I would say if you have not already hit the like button, I would encourage you to hit the like button. If you've not left a comment about how this analysis has supported your trading on the portal of late, I would encourage you to do that as well. Otherwise, guys, if you want to continue to watch me, I will be on Fast Markets today in about, let's say, about 21 minutes. Okay. Thank you for the congratulations on the 1,000 subs. Thank you guys for making that happen. All right. So yeah, exactly. Let's all have a green day, guys. Okay. And I think with that, we'll go ahead and close this session off, guys. As we close all these sessions, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon. Hasta mañana.